Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the news briefing today. Our first topic is COVID-19 information, and we have Dr. Moreno with us this morning. Good afternoon, or this afternoon now. Good afternoon, Dr. Moreno.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
And I see we've got some questions. I'm assuming you're ready to take questions, and we have already questions for you in chat. Dr. Moreno, do you expect COVID cases to rise with children now back in school?
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I think parents should and schools personnel should be aware that once children resume school, there could be a risk of increased transmission. So it's really important that schools continue to take precautions to reduce the spread of COVID-19 in the school setting, and that parents get their children vaccinated against COVID-19 if they haven't already been vaccinated.
Thank you, Dr. Moreno. And then the follow-up question that you might have answered some of that. What can parents do to keep their children safe? And you did mention vaccinations.
Yeah, so the number one thing would be for parents to get their children vaccinated to with one of the vaccines that are authorized for their children. And if any parents have questions or concerns about the vaccines that are available for their children, I recommend that they check with their child's healthcare provider.
Thank you for that. Any other questions for Dr. Moreno on COVID-19? I'm not seeing any. If it'll be short for you today, Dr. Moreno. Thanks very much for being here today. And if we get any additional questions that come in, we will forward them to you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. We're going to move on to our next topic, and it's something that everybody's already talking about, which is Car Week. And as it's really already almost upon us, and it's a series of many events that bring thousands of people to our area. So with this many events and this many people, safety is a top priority. Our Monterey County Public Safety agencies are coordinating again this year to make sure that this whole weekend and a half is safe for everyone. So we're very pleased to have we have a lot of people on the call today to talk about Car Week. We've got Chief Kevin Kamnikar with Monterey County Regional Fire and Commander Derrel Simpson with Monterey County Sheriff's Office to talk about fire and law issues. We also have Erik Lundquist, who's the director of our Housing and Community Development Department, and Dina Northcutt, also with Housing and Community Development, to talk about an online tracker to help people navigate the traffic. And I didn't put them in our early information about today's briefing, but we've got Lindsey Stevens and Sandy Huerta from MCCVB on the line to talk about work that they are doing to help support and get people interested in Car Week, interested in getting to the events and getting around the events. So thank you all for being here. We've got a lot to talk about, but we want to start with the safety issues. So Chief Kamnikar, can we start with you? What are things that people need to know about Car Week to have fun, but also be safe?
Yeah, probably the biggest thing is we've all been out there and we can see that the vegetation is extremely dry. So we're just kind of asking everyone to avoid any activities that might be a threat to the wildland. We all love doing our campfires. We all love being out in the open lands and everything. So just a few tips on campfires. Just make sure that wherever you are, make sure that they are allowed. And if you're in a park or something like that, Laguna Seca, that they are allowing them. Use the designated fire rings. Stay with your fire and extinguish it when it's prior to leaving. Just want to make sure that we do douse that and stir up all the coals. Another threat is if you're parking off pavement, just remember that your exhaust can reach temperatures up to 1,000+ degrees. So we always just ask everybody, try to avoid driving over the dry grass and in areas where it's not paved. If you're towing a trailer, just kind of do a quick maintenance check on it and make sure that the tires are in good shape and that you're not dragging your safety chains on the ground. And as always, at no time are fireworks right now allowed. Whether you're anywhere in Monterey County, they're not allowed. So if you're caught with a firework, you could be fined, or even worse, you could be responsible for the cost of fighting a wildfire. And of course, last but not least, just try to refrain from smoking near dry vegetation. As you know, cigarettes right now with these conditions can actually catch vegetation on fire and would be a huge threat. That's pretty much the biggest threats that I can think of right now and that I wanted to discuss.
And for this to be, I don't know if that's me or someone else. For people who might be concerned about fire, can you describe how Regional Fire is working to kind of be on standby? Because with this many people and so many potential for things to happen, how do you place your, crews so that they can be available if needed?
So we do have our 7 station staff 24/7. Well, one of them is part-time up at the Santa Lucia Preserve. The other 6 are staffs full-time. When we do have the events in our district out in Carmel Valley or off Laguna Seca area, Pasadena, those types of areas, we'll staff it with expert personnel and have fire engines and the personnel on a team there.
Great. And if you could stay on the line in case we have any additional questions for you. I'd like to go to Commander Derrel Simpson with the Sheriff's Office. Hi, Commander. Can you give us a little bit from the law enforcement perspective, what people should be aware of? What will you tolerate and what will you not? You're on mute.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me and let me know I'm on mute. I'd like to reiterate what the fire chief said. Just a lot of common sense. We're expecting numbers to match or exceed pre-pandemic numbers. There's going to be an incredible amount of people in our county for these events. So leave yourself plenty of time. We just don't have the thoroughfares that are going to get people there in an expedited manner. So you need to leave with plenty of time. Be very patient, be considerate. There's also the people that we have a lot of hikers. We have cyclists on many of the roads that people are going to be traveling, to look out for them. We understand that people are going to be having a lot of parties, celebrating. There's going to be alcohol involved. Either have a designated driver or a plan to not drive at all. We will have a zero, as we do year round, zero tolerance for DUIs. The fact that you just simply can't drive in a reckless manner and what you may consider to be mildly reckless in conditions that are compounded with so many people could be catastrophic. So we just ask that you just be really patient, really considerate of others, give yourself plenty of time so that you're not in a hurry, and relax, use common sense, and just obey all laws. And again, to kind of augment what the chief said, when it comes to fireworks, because of the fire dangers, there's going to be zero tolerance on that as well. It's just there's many homes in the area. It's catastrophic. You will be cited. You will be fined. And again, that could be just life altering if you were to start a fire under those conditions. And so just use common sense and be patient.
Really good advice, and we hope people will take that advice, especially where traffic is concerned. And Commander Simpson, if you'd stay on the line in case we have any questions for you. Traffic is one of the things that people talk most about, especially if you're a local with Car Week. And we've got Erik Lundquist and Dina Northcutt from Housing and Community Development to talk about a little help coming people's way to navigate the traffic with the daily online event tracker. Good afternoon, Erik and Dina.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us today. I thought it would best be good to first start by having our permit coordinator that handles special events within the unincorporated area of Monterey County, Liz Gonzalez, first tell everyone about the permitting process, and then she can hand the floor over to Dina Northcutt that can then share our Car Week GIS application. So with that, I'll let Liz explain our Car Week permit authorization process. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Elizabeth Gonzalez, Interim Special Events Coordinator. So far this year, we've received about 84 special event questionnaires. However, approximately 12 of them are related to Car Week. Most of the Car Week events are located within the city limits. These events that we do that we are in charge of, they have been coming in and getting all of their permits, and they're all up to date and ready to go. Every last Thursday of the month, we do hold a special events task force meeting with the regulatory agencies and event coordinators. We discuss upcoming events and the potential issues that could arise, and we'd like to address them beforehand. This is a public meeting, and it's currently on Zoom. So if anybody is interested in attending, we have the meetings posted on our website. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Dina Northcutt.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Dina Northcutt, and I wanted to share with you the Car Week website. So just one moment, please, and I'll share my screen and kind of give you a brief overview. So basically, it is on our website, as well as it is easily found at mccarweek.com. That will pull up the Car Week event schedule. This is meant to, number one, promote life, health, and safety. So basically, I'm trying to show all of the events that we have in Monterey County, as well as the ones that are in the county that require Monterey County permits. This year, I've made an at a glance event schedule. Basically, you can click here, and all the events are lined up by day. You can also click the tabs and be taken to the events themselves. So as you go along, you'll see all of the different events. If you click on an event, well, I'll use this one for an example. It'll say if it's in the Monterey County area, if it needs a permit from Monterey County or within the city limits. Also, here is where you would get tickets or go ahead and you click there if you want to be part of the event. There's a brief description. The really great thing about the Car Week website is that it has traffic data. So you'll see where the events are for the days, but also if you sort of scroll in, these arrows are traffic cams. I'll click on one, and sure enough, that'll be the one that's down. It never fails. But basically, I'll try and get another one here that'll come up and show you. But basically, you'll be able to see what the traffic looks like. And let me share my screen now. I found one that's working. These are cameras that are Caltrans cameras. You'll be able to click on them and see where the traffic, what it looks like, if there's a traffic jam, all of those things. So that's pretty helpful, as well as you can see when you go back to the site, the red, just like it would on your phone. You've got red if it's really backed up, green, yellow. You'll see those, as well as traffic cones. If there are traffic cones, you know that there's something happening in the area. So again, we've tried to make it pretty simple. Oops, let me back out a little bit so you can see. Easy to follow. Again, you can go in and see the permits. The permits are updated daily as events get their permits issued. But we pretty much have everything on here. There may be a couple of private events that wouldn't be, but these are the larger events, and this will help with navigating your way around. So hopefully that'll be helpful this year. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, and hold on, because I think we're going to get some questions for everyone after all the speakers are completed. But I'm wondering if you can share. This was started as something to show what events were permitted and not, because of problems with unpermitted events. But this is something that really morphed into something that was helpful in terms of permits, but really useful for the community.
Exactly. Folks would call in and say, hey, there's a lot of traffic. It looks like there's an event. Do you guys know about this event? Has fire been notified, EMS, etc., highway patrol, and that sort of prompted us to build the Car Week website, really so that people could at a glance be able to see if the event that's happening across the street from their house is actually something we know about. It's a pretty important map to have, especially at Car Week. A lot of collaboration goes into each event, so all the folks on the call You know, they know what we're talking about here, because we do have the special events task force that Elizabeth mentioned earlier, which is very important. Everyone can dial in, so it's been very helpful for the constituents as well as the visitors.
Thank you, Dina. And if you would stay on for a little while longer, we're going to turn to Lindsey Stevens and Sandy Huerta from MCCVB. They are great, you know, really important partners and collaborators in terms of Car Week. Ladies, how is Car Week working for you guys right now?
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Much like Commander Simpson, we are expecting crowds, the same as we saw pre-pandemic, based on some hotel occupancy figures that we've got, and just projections on visitation. We are expecting around 85,000 visitors over the course of the Car Week and a half. So we do expect to see those crowds, and our goal at MCCVB is to educate and inform and provide resources for visitors getting around to plan their time, because if they're able to plan their trip, again, as Commander Simpson said, they can be more mindful of how they're traveling around the county. They can make sure they have plenty of time to get around, all of those things. So we also have our website. Sandy can drop a link into the chat to our main Car Week page, where we have listings for all of the different events going on throughout the week. So this is a bit more marketing focused. We want to give people all the information, get them excited about attending some of these events. We also do have an interactive map. Ours is a bit different from the other one in that it shows you all of the events happening throughout the week all in one place. So you can kind of see how everything is spread around the county, and visitors, again, can use that to plan their week, plan the different events that they'll be attending and things like that. We do also have a travel resources page specifically for Car Week, where we do link out to the map we were just looking at. Your team has all the permit info, has all the traffic closures, so we want to refer to the experts here. So we do link out to that map so people can get that real-time traffic information and road closure information, and provide more of that logistical detail that they need to get around the county safely. So we had a great media roundtable in early July, not January, where we had most of our local media there to attend, to get some of this information out, to connect them with organizers. So we're really thrilled with the coverage that came from that. And again, we want our website to be a planning resource for visitors, but also a resource for the community if they're looking for information as well. So love working hand in hand with our jurisdiction and county partners to make sure that Car Week is well attended, but also well traveled by our visitors and well received by our community members. I think that's really it for us, unless there's any questions.
We do have some questions coming in for you, and I want to just do one more thing before we take those questions. But can you tell us how hospitality is anticipating the expectation of visitors? Are they ramping up? What's the feel over on the peninsula and the wider peninsula that will be involved in this?
Absolutely. Yeah. When we talk to hotels countywide, not just on the peninsula, everyone is gearing up for that influx of visitors. The kind of core of it is over that last weekend around the 19th. However, occupancy does look good ahead of that going into it. Kindness, I think, is really what it's going to be. It's the name of the game, patience and consideration. Many of our hospitality businesses, hotels, restaurants, etc., are still having trouble finding staff and getting up to full staffing. So this is definitely a challenge to bring an influx of visitors in over a compacted period of time. But our hotel community is great. I know that they'll do the best they can in order to support all of the visitors that come in throughout the week and provide a great experience. But again, our messaging out to the community for, in this sort of period of labor shortage has been, be patient, be kind. These are our neighbors and our community members here that you're interacting with that are working to serve you as our guests. So please show them that same respect, and we'll continue to communicate that out.
Great advice, great message, Lindsey. And then, so before we get to questions, I do want to remind people about our text alert system that is available for both locals and visitors. You can text Car Week, one word, to 888-777, and this will get you text alerts related to Car Week from the Office of Emergency Services and our collaborators. This is the second year for the text service. Those who sign up can get information related to traffic issues, safety information that would be relevant to Car Week. I think last year there were some power outages that information went out as well for people. So please share widely the text alert option for people. And besides the online tracker, it's another way to get some instant information if you can't get to the tracker wherever you happen to be. So let's go ahead and take questions now. And the first question is for Chief Kamnikar, and I know you answered it in chat, but let's answer it for people who are watching the stream. For safety messages, have there been reports in the past during Car Week of safety chains on trailers dragging low and starting fires and happening more frequently around this time?
Not that I recall any ever starting there. We've been out there when we have our crews at some of the events. If they notice that some of them are low, they'll just kind of remind the people to get them put back up and properly installed. They do make chain covers, that there's a program out there for old fire hose that is out there to put over the chains also to prevent it. We have had plenty of fires throughout the years in Monterey County that have been caused by dragging chains. In fact, the Carmel fire was caused by that. So it can happen.
Well, and with this many cars being trailered in, it wouldn't be surprising that could happen. So good safety messaging there. A question for Commander Simpson. Will the Sheriff's Office have a command post at any event or at Car Week overall?
They'll have a command post at all three events, and the command post will be set up on the day that the event is featured. So at Pebble Beach, it'll be the community service training room. At Quell, it's going to be at the Glass House, and then at Laguna Seca, it'll be up where the ranger station used to be at the communication center. So that we will have command posts or command centers at all three venues.
Great. And then a question for Lindsey. Does the 85,000 visitor expectation differ from previous Car Weeks, or is it higher?
It's based on previous Car Weeks. We do look at previous visitation and hotel occupancy numbers to calculate that. We are still going from a visitation perspective. We're still not back to pre-pandemic levels of some of the major groups that come in for Car Week, including international visitors. That visitation is just not returned to those same levels at this point. So we do expect that side of things will be a little bit lower. And so we are estimating 85,000. I saw Commander Simpson dropped in about 100,000 there. Again, our numbers are based on hotel occupancy, and we will get the data from that weekend about a week and a half after, once it's all reported through our data service. So I'd be happy to follow up with numbers of what we received in terms of visitation and hotel stays this year, once the event has come and gone and we can get that information.
Well, 85,000, 100,000, the advice still applies to be calm if you're in traffic and just, use the tools available and have fun when you get there, whenever you get there to the event that you're going to. Any other questions for any of our participants related to Car Week? I'm seeing none, but if any questions do come in, I will be happy to share them with you. Thank you all for being here to talk about Car Week. It's one of those things we're looking forward to it, but we also want to get through it, right? All right, thanks very much for joining us. Now, some of the Car Week events, a couple are taking place at Laguna Seca. There'll be a site for some activities, but After those activities are done, some very important renovation work is going to be going on at the track, and it's a major investment in the long-term future of the raceway. So we're very pleased to have Bryan Flores, who is the Chief of Parks, and Ryan Bell, Administrative Operations Manager out at Laguna Seca Recreation Area, to talk about the upcoming renovations. This is very exciting work that's going to happen at the track.
Thank you, Maya. Hello, everyone. Bryan Flores, Chief of Parks. With me, as Maya mentioned, I have Ryan Bell, my Administrative Operations Manager for Laguna Seca and the Rifle Range. And yeah, this is one of the largest capital improvement projects the county has undertaken. It's a $14,902,198 project, so roughly a $15 million project that will replace the start-finish bridge and the starter box, as well as repave the track, which hasn't been done in roughly 10 to 12 years. So it's exciting. The bridge currently, we've had to reduce the weight limits and things like that, and it is definitely in need of replacement. So it'll be replaced with a steel bridge. Granite construction was the lowest bidder, and on July 26th, the Board of Supervisors approved the additional funding that was needed to increase the project scope to include the track repaving. So we're very thankful to the board for making that commitment. It was kind of cobbled together through a number of different funding sources, everything from the cannabis assignment to some general fund savings from previous projects with the county, as well as sponsorship dollars and the general fund contingencies. So very excited to get this project underway. Bridge design is currently in progress, and get all the shop drawings completed. The bridge will be ordered, and then following our last major event in October, which is the Velocity Invitational, the bridge demo will begin. We're hoping to have the bridge on schedule to be installed and completed sometime in early spring, and then we'll move into the track repaving in May, June. So, but yeah, it's going to be a really great investment for the county to make out of Laguna Seca. It will help with getting people from the parking areas down into the paddock, into the spectator areas, and then the track getting repaved. We're also going to be doing some drainage work and replacing some of the piano curbs along the track. So really great project, and it's great to see that the county is making that investment.
Any thoughts from Ryan? Or I was hoping you might also follow up on the importance of resurfacing the track in terms of keeping Laguna Seca Raceway as well known and as challenging as it is. Why is resurfacing the track so important?
Sure. So the track surface, some racers like it slick, some like it a little bit more coarse. But in the end, we're constantly doing patch jobs and things like that, and the track is in need of resurfacing, which will allow us to have the most track rentals and the events, and not have any issues with the track being too slick, things like that. So it could be related to safety considerations and things like that, but more or less it's to provide the surface necessary for the racers to, have a successful race. And, it's a challenging course. Racers love it. And, with the investment of repaving that, it's going to be even better and will carry us, a decade more into the future of Laguna Seca.
Is this also something that could interest other events to use the track? Because I know there's a kind of a limitation on, what types of events, certain events, not too many during the year, and trying to balance the use of the track.
Yeah, we do have a use permit that was issued by the county that limits the number of major events and medium-sized events, minor events, etc. But, if the track was not repaved, there's a potential to lose some track rentals, to lose some events, and repaving the track will keep those rentals and events coming back and racing on this historic track. You know, it's world renowned. You know, numerous movies have been filmed there, as well as concerts and things like that. But it's very well known within the racing world. There's not really another track like it in the United States with this road course. It's a 2.238 mile track, very challenging turns. And then we have, of course, the world famous corkscrew that drops multiple stories over a very short distance, and will definitely get your stomach up into your mouth there.
And just before I let you go, do you want to talk a little bit about what events from that are happening during Car Week are happening at Laguna Seca?
Sure, most definitely. So we have coming up this weekend, August 13th and 14th, is the Monterey pre-reunion, which is a great opportunity for a lot of the cars that will be on site during the reunion event, the Rolex Monterey Motorsports reunion the following weekend. A chance to get out there, and you know, it's a lot of these racers and car enthusiasts have been coming here for 20, 30 years plus, and it really is a close-knit family of individuals, and gives them a chance to kind of get out there and get a few laps in their cars and do some fine tuning before they do some non-competitive racing the following weekend. The Rolex Monterey Motorsports reunion is going to be August 17th through the 20th. The last day of the event, which is Sunday, is going to be a community day, and we're going to have something that's never been done on the track before during an event, and that is a reverse track run up the corkscrew rather than coming down. And there's going to be some pretty neat vehicles there. We have the Doc Hudson, the Hudson Hornet from the movie Cars, the actual vehicle that was built that Paul Newman drove, and he was the one who did the voice for Doc Hudson in that movie. That will be on site, as well as a high-powered semi-truck driven by Bruce Canepa from Canepa Motorsports up in Scotts Valley. It was the semi-truck that set the world record for a large vehicle going up Pikes Peak in the dirt track, or the dirt race up Pikes Peak in Colorado, up to 14,000 feet. So there's going to be some really neat activities, not only for car enthusiasts, but also for families. We have some amusement park rides out there for kids, as well as a lot of different hospitality venues, food, beverage, souvenirs. It's looking to be a really great event for the community. And it's very reasonable. It's $35, I believe, for Sunday's event. And we hope to see a lot of families out there, not just the car enthusiasts.
Sounds great. Any last thoughts on any last things you might want to share about the renovation or Car Week before we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, if there's any questions, or if Ryan, if you have anything to add on this.
I do. Today was actually the initial pre-construction meeting with the management team, which we're all excited about, and we understand the project that's ahead of us and the timelines, which is one of the big things that we are addressing. But one thing that impressed me was I happened to come across a couple down at the base, the entrance to WeatherTech, and they were from France. And I asked a guy, you're here to knock something off your bucket list. And to him and his family, this is their favorite racetrack in the entire world, is this racetrack. And kind of hit me in the importance of this facility to the county, the importance of us maintaining it and going forward, and the necessary infrastructure and repairs, because it's not just ours. The world loves this place. And it just was something that struck home with me about how wonderful it is we're taking these steps forward and the things that we have to offer out here. So
thanks, Ryan.
Great story.
May, if I might add, we have a very special event coming up next year, which is the Porsche Rennsport reunion. And this is an event that just comes around every 4, 5, 6 years. It is the largest Porsche gathering in the world. We're anticipating roughly 80,000 people over a 4-day period next September 28th through the October 1st. The bridge was a major negotiating component in getting Rennsport to come here. They wanted to see that bridge done, as well as our title sponsor for the reunion this year, Rolex. And without the bridge going in, it's very likely that we would not have gotten the Rennsport reunion. The Rennsport reunion is looking to bring in some approximate community investment of roughly $40 million to the community in hospitality, local state taxes, things like that. So it's a big economic engine for our community at large.
Well, as Laguna Seca is not only good for car racing, but also it keeps people employed in all the support industries too. Another reason why this track is so important.
Yeah, most definitely. And on an average year, we're looking at, approximate about $60 million of community impact from the different events throughout the county in hospitality and local businesses.
Thank you both for talking about this. And if I get some additional questions for you about anything related to the track, we will forward them.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And last but absolutely not least, Laura Kershner with the Monterey County Workforce Development Board has been waiting patiently through all this excitement talking about Car Week to talk about an upcoming job fair, though we've been hearing that there are a lot of jobs in hospitality that are needed to handle the Car Week crowds.
There are jobs just across the board. And yes, there are tons in hospitality. We are open for business. We want everybody to know that there is a multiple employer job fair coming up on Thursday, the 17th of this month from 2 to 5 p.m. Upstairs at America's Job Center here at 344 Salinas Street here in Salinas. This is a great place for employers to, or for job seekers to come, multiple one-stop shopping, basically. You can think of it that way. You can come and there'll be multiple employers here for you to chat with, to find out what makes a good employee, what are they looking for in an employee. We welcome everybody to come back. This is a great facility that we have, lends itself well for job fairs. We'll be upstairs in the Morgan training room here at 344 Salinas Street. For us Salinas residents and for folks that know the area, right across the street from Casa Sorrento, so very dangerous indeed. And we want to make sure that we welcome everybody back and make sure that you're coming. If you're looking for work, this is a great place to find it. We want people to recognize that's what workforce development is all about, is bringing employers and job seekers together, and we're happy to play our part.
So Laura, can you tell us about some of the employers who will be looking for to hire at your fair?
I don't have a list with me today, but I can tell you that it's across industries. It's hospitality, it's ag, it's the medical field. What I did put in the chat, and people can kind of get a sneak preview of who's coming when they register for the event. So that's an incentive for them to come, because they'll get, once they sign up, get their name on the list, then they can peek at who's coming ahead of time. But we've had big employers from the past. We've had Pebble Beach company participate in the past for these kind of things. We've had Derrel brothers. We've had just it sort of runs the gamut from the big guys to the little guys. Everybody is looking right now. There's lots of opportunity across the board. There's lots of really good paying jobs. We've got lots of things for people to learn about in workforce development with all kinds of different initiatives that we're working on. We do multiple employer job fairs about once a month. And usually it's in the neighborhood of 12 to 15, sometimes 20 employers that are participating right upstairs. We do them here at our Salinas office. We've also got offices in Seaside at the Monterey Adult School, as well as at the Education Center, MPC Education Center in Moreno. And we're opening an office soon in Castroville, which is very exciting. So lots of things going on in workforce development. Again, we're all about bringing local employers and businesses together. And this is one of the ways that we do that. 2 to 5 p.m., August 17th, here at 344 Salinas Street, upstairs in the Morgan training room.
Let me ask you about some of the people who are looking for work. Are you hearing any people thinking, well, now that school has started again, I may look for work. So people who now kids can go to school in person, and parents may feel it's okay to go back to the workforce.
Yes, this is one of our big surge times. It's sometimes it's different for employers versus job seekers on when people are looking and this is one of our surge times. So we're seeing a surge in job seekers now because of that very reason. People think, oh, I've got to get back into the workforce. The kids are back in school and I need something, I need to be looking. So this is when we're seeing more people sort of come out of the woodwork, and that's typical for us. Sometimes at the holidays, people think, oh, nobody's hiring, so I'll just wait until after the holidays. So there are seasons for everything in workforce development. Our job is to try to help bring those two entities together, but it's much harder than it seems. There's a lot that goes into it. So certainly we want people to take advantage of these opportunities and to come to our job fairs. We've been doing this for a long time. We're trying to refine them and make them better. We've got some video elements that we're including to sort of teach job seekers, especially those that are new, what are employers looking for? What are some of the questions I should be asking as a job seeker? We're trying to make it easy for both sides, because we know it's very expensive to hire. And we know job seekers are looking for the very best jobs, but sometimes they just need a little help. So that's what we're here to support.
Are you finding that some job seekers are looking for some flexibility? I'm thinking of parents who are sending their kids back to school. They may have limited hours to work, maybe 8 to 3. Are you finding the employers are, because they're searching so broadly for employees, that they're a little more flexible on time?
They are. I'm glad you asked that, because they are more flexible than they have been. The salaries are much higher than they have been just in the last 3 or 4 years, because they have to be. So this is a good time to be a job seeker, because you're going to be really looked at, really assessed and looked at, and you're going to have a very good opportunity. It's been a job seeker market for quite some time now, many years. When I first started this gig, it was not. It was very much the employer market, and they had the pick of the litter, the cream of the crop, if you will. So still a very good time to be a job seeker. You're going to get a lot of people interested in you, just because there's not as many as there have been in the recent past. And I can tell you there are lots of really good jobs out there. It's just a matter of knowing where to look. One of the good places to start would be on our website, MontereyCountyWDV.org. We've got a great job board there. Employers can upload their jobs, where they can get a hold of me if they need some help. And job seekers can also post their resumes on our job board. It's a great way to learn about our different initiatives too, what we do here in workforce development. We've got a lot of different things going on. We've got a Facebook initiative right now with some local employers that's off and running. We've got the Green Cadre program. We've also got the Health Cadre program, just a number of different things. We've got incentives for businesses on the job training to incentivize them to hire people within our realms. So lots of different things going on for workforce development.
Thanks very much, Laura, as usual, for sharing the great information and great opportunities about your upcoming fair and all that the workforce development does.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Again, I wanted to draw your attention to the chat. I have put the flyer in there for our upcoming event, as well as the, let me see if I've got that one in there, as well as the sign up link that I've just posted, where job seekers can register and sign up.
Great, super. Thanks very much, Laura. And thank you all for attending our news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week. We'll see you then.
Thank you.